The Goths simply abandon it.
What?
534
We are
AD.
back again, folks.
Flavius Belisarius, Eastern Roman
Belisarius.
general, has waged one of the
I
most
haven't
successful
forgotten about this
campaigns in the
series, y'all.
empire's history.
Okay. This is
The
actually one of my
complete
favorite series.
reconquest of North Africa in just 6 months.
6 months, dude. I think this is one of the most impressive things that I've seen in ancient history. Because, bro, a campaign like this, it usually takes way longer, my dude. 6 months conquering a whole
Almost without
kingdom.
loss. He is well
And he didn't
rewarded
really
by
take down
Emperor
his casualties,
Justinian.
bro.
He celebrates his victory with a triumph in Constantinople and receives the title of consul. Belisarius has helped Justinian's regime survive political crisis. Now his victory offers irrefutable proof of God's divine sanction. Emboldened,
The irony, because Jesus was crucified by the Roman Empire.
Justinian will pursue a new strategic vision, the reconquest of the Western Roman Empire and its reunification. Belisarius's next mission.
And you know what? He kind of succeeded. Like, this is why I feel like Belisarius, is like top tier Roman general, right? Top tier Roman general, like easy peasy. I know there's Aurelian. Oh, dude, I hate that name. But the guy who saved Rome during the crisis of the 3rd century. Yeah, he was also up there as well. I wonder who, him versus Belisarius, who is better?
Will be to Italy,
Give me your opinion if you want to.
where he will fight a desperate struggle for the eternal city, Rome itself.
The Battle of Rome, Part 3. All right.
First, a big thanks to our videos.
I am poor. All right, we're just going to skip that.
60 years have passed since the Western Roman Empire fell to barbarians. Many kings emerged to rule over its shattered remains.
Wait, it's been only 60
Above
years?
them all, towered
I thought it was much longer than that when Justinian and Belisarius came out.
Theodoric the Great. With Eastern Roman approval, he'd led his Ostrogoth warbands from the Balkans into Italy. He overthrew and killed Odoacer, the man who'd deposed the last Western emperor, and forged his own Goth superstate. Theodoric.
Wait, the Goth kingdom of Theod. I thought the Gothic kingdom was only the Italian peninsula and a piece of the Balkans right here around Dalmatia, and a bit into modern day Hungary and the Alps. I didn't know that this was much bigger.
Arian Christian worked with the Senate in Rome and sought close relations with the Eastern Roman Empire. To Emperor Anastasius, he wrote, "Our royalty is an imitation of yours, modeled on your good purpose, a copy of the only empire." Procopius,
copy
the
of the
6th
only
century
empire.
historian and aide to
That's
Belisarius, would himself praise Theodoric as, in name, a tyrant, but in fact, an emperor, no less than any who've ever distinguished themselves in that office.
Yeah, bro. Okay, so I watched a documentary of Justinian, and Justinian did not care. He did not care. That I know.
In the eyes of his supporters, Theodoric had revived the Western Roman Empire, in all but name. But the succession would unravel his great achievement.
That's interesting.
Theodoric had 3 daughters, so his heir was to have been his son-in-law, Eutharic, but he died 4 years before the king.
Okay, so the Eastern Roman Empire, they allowed the Ostrogoths to depose the king that deposed the last Roman emperor of the West. So it's interesting how they're viewed as barbarians, but they allowed them to go in to what was the Western Roman Empire. What? My brain is not braining.
In 522, the succession passed to Theodoric's 10-year-old grandson, Athalaric. His mother, the highly educated and formidable Amalasuntha, ruled as regent. In defending her position, Amalasuntha made powerful enemies among the Goths, and when her son died aged just 18, one of those enemies, her cousin Theodahad, became king. In 535, he has Amalasuntha imprisoned on an island in the middle of Lake Borsina. Weeks later, assassins arrive. They're rumored to be vengeful relatives of men Amalasuntha had killed during her regency. The daughter of Theodoric the Great is strangled in her bath. Theodahad thinks...
Damn. Okay, the video just began and this is already going crazy.
Quietly eliminate his rival without repercussions. But Amalasuntha had been a trusted ally of the Emperor Justinian, and he is looking for an excuse for war.
Well, he just got
and
it.
The Emperor, upon learning what had befallen Amalasuntha, immediately entered upon the war, being in the 9th year of his reign. For Justinian, chaos at the Ostrogoth court presents an opportunity. After success in North Africa, he wants Italy for the empire. The strategic and symbolic gains will be immense. Before her death, Amalasuntha had offered him the kingdom in exchange for political asylum. Now Justinian pressures Theodahad.
Okay, so he basically has a casus belli, or he has an excuse to invade now.
A notoriously corrupt and greedy man to accept the same deal or face war.
Oh, yeah.
Justinian's tough diplomacy is backed up by military deployments. Mundus command.
You always need a military. You can't talk the talk if you can't walk the walk. You need a military, man. So
the army in Illyria advances into Goth-controlled Dalmatia and takes Salona, the modern city of Split. Belisarius, meanwhile, is ordered to sail with 9,000 men
only
to Sicily
9,000 troops
to see if the Goths there will put up a fight.
Only 9,000 troops.
Only the garrison of Palermo offers resistance, which is soon overcome. The rest of Sicily submits to the Romans without a fight.
How much do they have?
Hi, everyone.
On the last day of 535, Belisarius marks the end of his consulship, scattering coins to the crowds in Syracuse as his troops march triumphantly through the city. As negotiations continue in the Goth capital Ravenna between Theodahad and Justinian's envoy, Solomon, Praetorian prefect of North Africa, arrives in Sicily with alarming news from Carthage. The army, angered by late pay and religious discrimination, has murdered its officers and mutinied.
Damn! Shoo! Alright, this is getting
Belisarius
heated.
immediately sails for Carthage with just 100 picked men.
100 picked men? 100?
His own formidable reputation, plus generous handouts of cash, quickly secures the loyalty of 2,000 troops, whom he leads out to face the 9,000 mutineers.
Okay, yeah, Belisarius is him. Bro. This man pull up with 100 troops, bro. And he got, like, way more than 100 times that. I think he got like 1,000, no, 2,000 times that. 2,000% more. Quite literally, 2,000% more. Oh yeah. Yeah. If there's anyone that has that I'm him energy, definitely Belisarius. And Hannibal too. Definitely Hannibal. I think Hannibal is like number one with that I'm him, vibe / energy,
The mutineer army is a motley crew of Romans, mercenaries, renegade Vandals, and escaped slaves, commanded by Stotzas, a former Bucellarius. They have no generals and little discipline. When Stotzas tries to maneuver his army into a better position, it becomes badly disordered. Belisarius immediately launches an all-out attack.
Cakewalk. This is cakewalk, bro.
Stotzas and his army turn and run.
Cakewalk. I told you, this is nothing compared to what Belisarius did.
Belisarius has saved Carthage, but the war in North Africa against Berbers and rebels will drag on for 15 more years. This task falls to Solomon, but Belisarius must race back to Sicily to quash another mutiny among his own troops.
How many mutinies are these people going to have? Oh my gosh.
Balkans, meanwhile, a Goth counterattack results in the death of General Mundus, and the Romans make a tactical withdrawal. When news of this minor triumph reaches King Theodahad, he feels suddenly emboldened and rejects all Justinian's demands.
Damn.
Belisarius receives new orders. He is to cross the Strait of Messina and reconquer Italy from the Ostrogoths.
Okay.
Belisarius lands in Italy with barely 8,000 men. The bulk of his troops are infantry, including 3,000 Isaurians,
8,000 troops.
Fierce warriors from the Taurus
How in the world is he gonna pull this off? Freaking 8,000 troops,
mountains of Anatolia. His cavalry includes Hun and Berber mercenaries, as well as the elite Bucellari, the picked troops maintained by Belisarius, and other senior commanders. As in North Africa, he is accompanied on campaign by his wife Antonina, a capable and trusted ally of Empress Theodora.
Interesting.
That the Emperor entrusts the campaign to such a small force, when the Goths can field an army 4 times its size, indicates...
Yeah, freaking 4 times its size, man. Like, I'm really curious to see how he's going to pull this off.
Justinian's supreme confidence in Belisarius. But it is also a sign that he has badly underestimated the Goths and their will to fight.
Seems like it to me.
Belisarius's army is welcomed by southern Italians and meets no opposition as far as Naples. This city has strong walls and a garrison of 800 Goths. Belisarius appeals directly to its citizens, urging them to throw open the gates and warning of the dire consequences of an assault. I pray that an ancient city which has long been inhabited by Christians and Romans may not meet with such a fortune, especially at my hands as a commander of Roman troops.
Alright, Belisarius is doing talk, no jutsu. Let's see if it works.
The citizens of Naples are divided, but ultimately their leaders reject the demand to hand over the city.
Ah, damn.
This is how AI...
When Belisarius's troops sneak into the city using an old aqueduct, there is a savage slaughter of Goths and Italian citizens alike, until the general can restore order.
How in the world do you not... How did they discover that? And how do you not know that there's an abandoned aqueduct, bruh?
The main Ostrogoth army has been standing idle 60 miles to the north.
60 miles to the north.
Never suited to military command, and now unsettled by omens, does nothing to save Naples.
Wow.
It's his own death sentence.
Wow.
He is deposed and killed. Witigis becomes the new king of the Ostrogoths. He is in his 60s, but he's an...
No, 60 miles? That's actually not... That's, like, not really far. 60 miles? 60 miles? Bro, that's like a car drive. You know, like, that'll take like an hour drive if you're driving on the interstate highway with a moderate car. Cause that's like what? Kind of the average for a lot of cars, like 60 miles per hour. And like, whatchamacallit, my my country Barbados is 21 miles long, so that's like 3 Barbadoses. That's not very far. Wow, he just sat there and did nothing.
Experienced soldier
He
who
could have
fought alongside
easily relieved
Theodoric
the
the
city.
Great. He assumes that Belisarius must be leading a large army up from the south and wants more time to gather his forces. He also plans
fact
to
that he's doing
negotiate a
this-
truce with the Franks, which will free
Oh.
up more troops for the war against the Romans. So, leaving 4,000 men to hold Rome, Witigis withdraws to Ravenna. Belisarius garrisons Naples
I like
and
the
advances
Ostrogothic
up
flag.
the old Roman road, the Via Latina, to Rome.
Via
But as he
Latina.
nears the great city, the Goths simply abandon it.
What? 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 I'm over here expecting a big battle to happen. Freaking, oh, he's gonna liberate Rome, the old city. It's gonna be so triumphant. And he just abandoned, they just abandoned it? Wow. This is what, no, this is the biggest letdown that I've ever reacted to. Wow.
They march out through the Porta Flaminia, as Belisarius and his army march in through the Porta Asinaria, a gate which, though much restored, survives to this day.
Why would they abandon the
60
city?
years after the fall of the Western Empire, Rome once more belongs to the Romans. Belisarius duly dispatches the keys to the city to Emperor Justinian. Rome in the 6th century is still a great city, but a shadow of its former glory.
Yeah.
In its imperial heyday, Rome's population had been around 500,000. Now it's just
Wow. Freaking 500,000. The population of Barbados is 280,000 people. Wow.
of that. But it remains the seat of the Roman Senate and the Pope, and a city of intense emotional and cultural significance to all Romans.
Yeah. So it's
The
still
city is also
important.
notoriously difficult to defend, which is why the Goths have abandoned it.
Oh.
The famous Aurelian walls are crumbling, and at 12 miles in length are too long for a small army to easily hold. The Goths had also worried that Rome's large population might turn against them.
Yeah. No, it's funny because back when Rome was in its prime, Rome was like very, very tough to sack, right? Like it was hard to break through the walls of Rome, but now it's crumbling, and because of that, it turned into the opposite. These walls that were so hard to break through are now a detriment to someone trying to defend it. So, wow.
Belisarius is down to 7,000 men. Not enough to face the Goths in open battle.
Yeah,
So he
definitely
sends
not.
detachments to garrison key strongholds along the Via Flaminia, the road to Ravenna, which he hopes will delay the inevitable Goth advance. While in Rome, he and his men begin hurried preparations for a siege. The walls are repaired, and merlons are added.
How long does this take, though?
A deep moat is dug around the city. The granaries are filled with grain. All Rome's adult male citizens are conscripted into the city
Whoa.
guard.
All right. He's really preparing.
Witigis, meanwhile, has been told how small Belisarius' army is.
Oh,
Embarrassed by his earlier caution, he gives the order for his reinforced army to march on Rome. His chief concern is to get there before
oh my God. Oh, dude, I'm like thinking from his perspective, dude. Imagine you did all of this precaution. You did all of that precaution only to find out that the army is not that big. Oh my gosh.
before
Oh.
Belisarius can escape. But Belisarius has no plans to flee.
Getting all your daily news.
And whoever of you has hopes of setting foot in Rome without a fight is mistaken in his judgment. For as long as Belisarius lives, it is impossible for him to relinquish this city. Such were the words of Belisarius. 537 AD.
He's not
In
going down
early spring, Vitiges leads a huge Goth army, probably more than 30,000 men, down the Via Flaminia, sweeping past the small Roman outposts. Belisarius plans to fight a delaying action a mile and a half north of the city, at the Milvian Bridge. But his infantry, terrified by the size of the Goth army, abandon the bridge without a fight.
You know, look, I can't even blame him. I can't even blame him.
Belisarius is left facing the Goth army with just 1,000 horsemen.
Oh, wow.
He orders his men to charge.
Belisarius, you are bold. You are a bold person, Belisarius.
Belisarius himself fights in the front rank.
Even bolder. Okay, Belisarius. Can we have a round of applause?
Scores of men fall around him. Goth spears finally drive Belisarius and his men back towards the Porta Salaria.
Dude, the fact that he was fighting with his troops of 1,000 cavalry is absolutely mad to me. Like, I think this is one of the most respectable things I've seen so far that I've ever reacted to.
At first, its defenders don't recognize Belisarius, covered in dust and gore, and won't let him in. He's forced to launch another desperate charge to drive the Goths back from the walls.
Oh, that's scary. Oh.
Finally, the gate is opened, and he and his men get back into the city. The siege.
How in the freaking world did he not die from that? Bro, God was watching over this fella. Bro. There's no freaking way. Freaking hell.
Of Rome begins. The city is too large for Vitiges to completely surround. He builds 7 fortified camps north of the city and cuts the aqueducts that have supplied Rome with water for 800 years. There will be no baths for the Romans, but the city's wells will still supply drinking water. When Belisarius rejects calls to surrender, the Goths begin building rams, ladders, and siege towers for a major assault.
Alright.
18 days later, they attack.
Alright.
But their inexperience in siege warfare is soon evident. Their towers are pulled by oxen. The Romans shoot all the animals, and the towers are left stranded.
Really? Bro, I want to say the N-word so bad. But I'd like to keep my channel PG. Like, really? Wow.
The Goths assault the city from multiple directions. The mausoleum of Hadrian, converted into a fortress, comes under heavy pressure. But eventually, the Goths are thrown back on all fronts.
Wow.
That night, the Romans celebrate a great victory, lighting fires and singing from the battlements.
Oh, well deserved,
Both
man.
sides
Well
prepare
deserved.
for a long siege. Belisarius is an inspiring presence in the city, active, calm, and confident, even when others begin to despair. He has written to Justinian, urgently requesting reinforcements. Now he oversees every aspect of the city's defense and supply. He orders all non-combatants to travel south to Naples, so there are fewer mouths to feed. He has the keys to the gates changed regularly to reduce the risk from treachery. while his Berber mercenaries patrol at night with dogs to detect any surprise attack. His wife, Antonina, also takes an active role. When the Pope is suspected of conducting secret talks with the Goths, she demands, "Tell us, Lord Pope Silverius, what have we done to you and the Romans to make you want to betray us to the Goths?" The Pope...
Oh man, I wish we could have more women like this. Oh my gosh, dude. Oh my gosh, dude. Oh, I can't call her Giga Chad because she's a woman. I don't even know. She's a queen. Yeah, I'm gonna call her. She's a queen. All right. Unfortunately, most modern women are not like this. I'm not gonna talk too much about that here, but if only more modern women would be like this, I would not be single right now.
Pope is arrested and sent out of the city.
Hi there, I'm Jeff.
A month into the siege, Belisarius receives much-needed reinforcements. 1,600 cavalry, mostly Huns and Slavs, led by Martinus and Valerian. Belisarius has seen that the Goths have no mounted archers. Now he can use his own to make hit-and-run attacks against the enemy.
Oh no!
A few hundred horsemen will ride within range of the Goths, shower them with arrows, then fall back under covering fire from the city walls. Procopius counts 67 actions of this type, both large and small. Almost all are won by the Romans because of their superior cavalry. The victories raise morale and frustrate the enemy,
I can only
but they
imagine.
will not break the siege.
Yeah, but it's still
The
withering
situation
down.
deteriorates
them a little
dramatically when the Goths take Portus, Rome's port at the mouth of the river Tiber, making it much more difficult to get supplies into the city. By September, 6 months into the siege, hunger and sickness begin to take hold. Even the armies...
6 months. Dude, 6 months? That's how long it took for him to conquer the whole Vandal kingdom. And the city is still under
are
siege?
killed to make sausages.
Bloody hell, man.
The citizens of Rome beg Belisarius to stake everything on one decisive battle for the city. But he refuses, telling them, "You act as though you were playing dice and want to risk everything on a single roll. But it is not my custom to choose the short course over the best course." Instead, Belisarius sends Antonina and Procopius to Naples, with instructions to use his authority to requisition all grain and every soldier who can be spared, and send both to Rome. 500 men and a convoy of supplies are soon rolling up the Via Appia. They're followed by 1,800 cavalry reinforcements, who land at Dryas, modern Otranto.
Alright.
Then 3,000 Isaurians arrive at Naples.
Okay. Now we're getting like bigger
Grain
numbers.
ships, and travel on to Ostia by sea. After months of delay, the vast resources of the Eastern Roman Empire are finally coming to Belisarius's aid.
Finally, man. It's about time.
Garrison of Rome launch a series of diversionary attacks on the Goths. These allow the supplies, under Antonina's direction, to slip into the city. The threat of starvation is ended. It's the last straw for Vitiges. His own men have been camped outside Rome for almost a year, harassed by the enemy, themselves decimated by disease and hunger. The Ostrogoth king asks for a truce to open negotiations with the emperor.
Yeah.
He offers Justinian all of southern Italy, but it is not enough. The initiative has swung to Belisarius.
Yeah.
Belisarius has sent an elite force of 2,000 cavalry, commanded by John, north into Picenum, behind enemy lines. When the Goths break the terms of the truce, Belisarius orders John to unleash hell. Almost all the Goth warriors are away on military service. their farms and settlements are completely exposed. John sacks, burns and plunders at will, enslaving hundreds of Goth women and children.
Easy pickings, bro. You know, it's funny to me how, right? People cherry pick slavery so much, but yet we worship the Romans who would just enslave people left, right, and center. You know, it's funny to me how people never talk about the slaves that Rome had. Let's continue.
Are not harmed. Vitigus's uncle gathers a small force to challenge John. They're no match for his Bucellari. John ignores the Goth strongholds at Urbino and Auximum, but at the invitation of its citizens, occupies the walled city of Ariminum, just 30 miles south of the Ostrogoth capital at Ravenna. Vitigus has no choice but to abandon the siege and march north to defend the Goth heartland. Against the odds, under-resourced and outnumbered, Belisarius has triumphed in one of history's most epic sieges.
Dude, I love this art. This art is so nice. Oh my gosh, dude. Like, you got to appreciate
a siege
this
that
art.
has lasted 1 year and 9 days. Because of him, the city of Romulus and the Caesars once more belongs to the Roman Empire. The war against the Goths in Italy seems to be entering its final phase. Belisarius's position appears unassailable. But, as every emperor knows, the history of the empire has been blighted time and again by the treachery of overmighty generals. Belisarius's victories are as glorious as any in Rome's history. How can Justinian not regard him with suspicion? Soon, Belisarius will find himself facing new rivals from within the empire, just as an old enemy re-emerges in the east.
The Sassanid Persians.
Big thanks to...
Yeah, I was thinking, man, like, all of this is going to a little too good. You know what I mean, man? Check out these videos that are appearing on your screen. If you haven't checked out my other reactions to the Belisarius series, check it out. If not, go and check out my other historical reactions on my channel, especially by Epic History TV. If you have any suggestions, for me to react to, make sure to give it to me in the comments down below. Thank you and goodbye.